because I don't like talking about Michigan whatsoever, I'm going to let you intro this one.
So, coming off of some of our NIL conversations that we've been having lately, Michigan and athletic director Warde Manuel have announced their NIL collective that they will be launching here soon. Some very convoluted statements by Warde Manuel. I'm not going to lie. I'm not surprised that they got involved, but just that he didn't seem to pick a lane. Right? So the feeling that I got, well, first of all, let's start with the Michigan showcase. I'll talk about that a little bit more in my doves and nails, but they held a recruiting event last weekend, and Jim Harbaugh got pulled aside and asked about some of this NIL stuff, and I think for the most part he said all the right things. He believes the players should get paid on their name, image, and likeness, and I think it's a good opportunity for them financially, but he wants the experience at Michigan to remain, what did he say, transitional, not transactional, which is something I expect to hear out of Harbaugh. Also something that I expect to hear coming out of the University of Michigan, because like we've talked on it before, if any school is going to get caught with their hands in the cookie jar, it's going to be USC, it's going to be Texas A&M, it's going to be Texas. It ain't going to be Michigan. It's just not.
Yeah.
So there, Harbaugh says that, and then this week we get a quote from 24/7 Sports where Warde Manuel is basically saying, yeah, we got a collective going. Businesses and things like that, alumni, and it's one of many that will be coming. Now, it is not like the one that Texas A&M or Nebraska is coming out with. It's more so of them having a direct contract with the MDN, which is the school store. The athletic apparel store for the official Michigan gear. I mean, why does it have to be some old rich white guy giving you a bag full of cash? That's fine to me.
It's actually it makes sense because it's directly proportional to, obviously you're getting money in from the apparel store, which is selling based off of the name, image, and likeness of these players. So it almost makes too much sense in that case.
And then also they still have the one in place for, boosters and alumni and stuff like that to offer business opportunities through their program to reach out to the players.
Sure.
And again, he did say that is just one of the few that are coming to Ann Arbor. Here's where it gets a little back and forthy though. He does say that he doesn't know necessarily how he feels about it, and I'm paraphrasing now, how he feels about it going forward. If the collective just means that, basically we're providing opportunities for our student athletes to make money, then I'm here for that. He said he's not for paying college or paying high school students to come and play football at Michigan. And I guess I get the line you're trying to draw, but until we have some sort of further guidance on this stuff or some sort of governing body, whether that be the U.S. government, whether that be the universities, whether that be the NCAA, it's the wild, wild west.
I was going to say it's tough to say that because, like you said, it's the wild west right now, and it's going towards a place where it's almost you just are directly paying these kids.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's a modest salary, even if they're getting an extra $50K a year, you're paying someone a above the national average salary in compensation and in kickbacks essentially for being a college athlete. I mean that you can try to draw the distinctions and reorganize the structure by which they're getting paid all you want, but at the end of the day, they're here to play football, and that's the only reason why they have access to this money. So it doesn't matter if it comes from Joe Blow, up the block, who pulls up in his Maserati with a bag of cash, or if it comes from the local, local Chevrolet dealer. Cash is cash. It spins the same.
And the structure almost has to be similar to what you would see in like the NFL. Because how do you pay your number one top recruit or your star player on your team the same as Joe Blow who maybe walked on,
or
third,
the
fourth
3-star
string
recruit. Yeah,
you can't pay them equally.
But that's the thing though. You're expecting teenagers to have an understanding of hierarchy and to respect other teenagers being paid more than them.
Yeah.
There are guys that are going to be sitting on the bench that think that they're better than the guy who's playing. Mm-hmm. Some of them are right. Yeah. How does that work now? How does the guy who got $8 million to go to Rocky Top keep that $8 million and keep getting paid on it from the bench?
Yeah, how do you expect?
Or does the coach now end up playing that shitty quarterback longer than he should because, well, with them, he's making millions of dollars in NIL money here. Like, I don't want to be the coach that causes him to lose all of that, and now people don't come to Rocky Top. Now you see the shitstorm that they've created doing this shit.
How do you say that, obviously in Ohio State, we have a quarterback situation where we've got top talent lined up who aren't necessarily playing.
You can't just pay all the quarterbacks. You can't.
But you have a guy like Kyle McCord and Devin Brown who are looking at C.J. Stroud just get a Bentayga.
Yeah.
Like, how do you calm them and say, no, wait your turn.
Yeah, this is a meritocracy. And I mean, C.J. Stroud, okay, no, he's earned it. Like, he was a Heisman finalist last year.
Yep.
But then how do you take the next college freshman that you're expecting to do the same, give him all of that up front and expect it not to mess with the chemistry of your team? And so that's what I guess the good part of it is with Michigan still kind of having the training wheels on it, is because I don't believe it'll get to the point where now guys are fighting over money in the locker room. If you can find a way to get everybody paid, put money in everyone's wallet, like Blake Corum, JJ McCarthy, those guys are going to get deals outside of the university because they have big social media followings. Their celebrity reaches outside of the field. Yeah. If that's your gripe, then you better do some viral shit on IG or something. That's not really a football thing. There's nothing anybody's going to be able to change about that. But making sure that everybody gets a piece, that is something that Michigan could control, and they are, in which I think bodes well. What I don't like is that people are going to be taking wider swings than this, much wider swings than this. And I hope we don't fall behind, And
that's what I was going to say is, how does Michigan keep that stance when other organizations are like, look, we got to do what we got to do to garner top recruits?
I mean,
at some point you got to be like, all right,
somebody's going to break the law. Somebody's going to break the law.
Yeah.
And that'll give everybody notice to stop the shenanigans. Mm-hmm. Do it by the book, the way you're supposed to. Let's collectively, like this. Again, this is another thing that bodes well for maybe a trend towards unionizing, because if we do something like that, we have meetings. We have collective bargaining agreements to parse through all of this kind of stuff, right? We bring these things to the table more than once a year after the damn bowl games have been played between all the university presidents. That ain't gonna get it done anymore. We'll have to have a coaches sit down. We'll have to have a players, sit down. We'll have to have voices to advocate for all these different groups to tell what is the best way to go about it. What's the best place to set a salary cap? What allows me to pay my top guys what they need to stay, but it'll also keep all of my other guys in here without it making it seem like I'm just bringing in $20 million of cash to pay for the roster.
Question. So unionizing, would that be a players union?
It would have to be a players union.
Because my question then becomes, how would a players union not start to levy for things like, oh, well, I'm about to play in the Orange Bowl, I'm going to need a bonus to play in said, or I'm going to need some sort of incentive to play in said Orange Bowl.
You know what? All of that stuff is already in place because it already goes to the university. You already get a bonus for going to championship games. You already get a bonus for going to bowl games. Traditionally, all that money goes back to the university and the players never touch it. Maybe now we start having conversations about revenue shares.
Yeah.
Revenue shares is an easy way to make sure everybody gets paid and have a salary cap. If you're sharing the revenue, now they don't need to go out and find collective deals as much, because now I'm guaranteed this amount of money coming to any university, granted that we're successful and we hit these certain benchmarks. Without that certain stuff in place, I'm left to listen to the guys who are recruiting me, who are telling me this, that, the third, and other. Well, Michigan's like, oh, well, we'll get you a regular paycheck. Texas A&M is like, we'll buy you a pickup truck and put $100,000 in the back of it.
Yeah.
So that's the difference that we're dealing with here. Who do you think gets caught first? Who gets caught first?
If I've got my fingers crossed, it's fucking Nick Saban. I just don't think I don't think that's going to happen, because I'm sure he's going to have safeguards in place to prevent that from happening.
He's bulletproof.
Yeah. But I do feel it's going to be probably a top team from the SEC, probably, especially once Texas and Oklahoma get into the SEC. I just, for whatever reason, don't like their odds and all this, because I feel like they're a little bit more aggressive as it pertains to these things. I mean, Texas A&M is a #1 recruiting class because of NIL now.
Yeah, my money's on USC or Texas A&M. That's where my money is. Did you see the Pac-12, or not the Pac-12? Excuse me, the Big 12 expanding?
Did they include Cincinnati,
Houston, BYU, and
I didn't see that.
Someone else?
I did see that,
and that's happening next season.
Mm-hmm.
Next season,
which is good for a team like Cincinnati, because now they're in a big conference, so they gotta.
It's good for them in terms of program building. I don't know how that works logistically.
Hey, I don't either.
Yeah, Cincinnati may be pretty close to the border of Kentucky, but that's as southern as it gets for Cincinnati. Like you're talking about taking constant trips to Texas.
Yeah. No,
like weekly
that's kind of
trips
crazy.
to Texas.
BYU makes sense because it's Utah.
But, obviously they'll be making more. I think they'll be on whatever TV contract that now the Big 12 has. So that'll help a little bit with revenue.
Yeah.
Houston and Brigham Young. Brigham Young is even a little weird coming from the West.
Right. But it's still close. I feel like that's close enough.
That's closer than Cincinnati, though.
And obviously Houston is right there. But, BYU kind of makes sense. Cincinnati is a little bit of a stretch, because you're talking about like literally middle of the country.
Yeah.
And Ohio, Cincinnati is just not quite that. It's closer to the east.
If pussy ass Notre Dame would just join the Big Ten. It's like you guys lose one game and your season's over because you don't play a conference championship game. So, just throw this out there. Maybe join the conference who's going to hopefully end up winning out the next TV contract with NBC. That way it's seamless, because they're going to pick up a conference. All the conference TV contracts are in flux right now. The Big 10, the SEC, Big 12, they're all of them are up.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some reshuffling. You think NBC's not going to get in on the game? You think they're just going to sit by quietly and just hold on to their Notre Dame card and only show your games? That's not going to happen, fam.
No.
It's not going to happen.
Notre Dame is not going to be incentivized to join the Big Ten after Ohio State gives them the ass whooping they've been looking for in week 1.
I don't care. Did you hear that? Did you know that James Laurinaitis is coaching over there too?
Yep.
Ew.
Yep.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
A little weird. But
I mean, it's not that weird. He played with Marcus Freeman, but
yeah.
Just gross. They called him a GA. He's a fucking graduate assistant. I was like, hold on, man.
Gross.
That's kind of gross. Yeah.
It's a little weird, but I mean,
can't get my boy a position. He can't coach the linebacker. Who is the linebacker coach? If James Laurinaitis is on the staff, your linebacker coach better be fucking best in the country.
Yeah, which probably not. But I don't know. I don't know who their linebacker coach is, so
yeah,
I can't say it. But looking forward to handing their asses to them.
Yeah, I don't care either way. I don't like either one of those programs. So, and the last time we played them both, we kicked both of their asses. So, you know what? I'll just sit back and watch gleefully.
We'll see about this year, though. Anyway.
Oh, well.
Any other thoughts?
Nope. Give us your thoughts on the NIL collectives that have been forming here in college football since name, image, and likeness became a thing. Let us know what you think Be sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come to us back next week.
And make sure you check out our college football playlist. We talk about college football quite a bit. And, man, it's coming up. I love that we keep talking about it because it's coming up.
Less than 90 soon. Days.
Oof.
Less than 90 days.
Make sure you subscribe. We will be providing much more college football takes as soon as the season comes up. So be there, be square.